Are kids actually getting worse, or is it bias? There are studies that show pretty significant jumps in suicide rates, rates of diagnosed depression and anxiety in teens, increase in social anxiety, etc. Take that for what you will. Ask any elementary school teacher that has been doing it for 10+ years. Every single one will tell you they get worse every year. I have a cousin that is teaching her 13th third grade class this year, and she says if she didn't have kids of her own in the same school system, she would not be a teacher anymore. Up until 5 years ago she loved teaching. Now she dreads going to work every single day because it's a new headache. Edit. To be fair, the adults that are in charge of the school system don't make it any easier as well, often actually causing more problems than they are solving. So yes, the kids get worse, but so do the adults. The children now love luxury. They have bad manners, contempt for authority. They show disrespect for elders and love chatter in place of exercise. Children are now tyrants, not the servants of their households. Socrates. I've been working with kids as a job for over 30 years. And they're simply different now than they were even 10 years ago. 37M. I doubt that social media and smartphones are helping them. They are definitely going to be different to past generations because of it. But they are a lot more accepting. Something simple like wearing a pink shirt back in my day, you would have gotten shunned and bullied in high school. Now, they're more tolerant and acceptable of people's sexuality. You win some, and you lose some. I haven't seen many metrics that actually back up the claim that kids are getting worse from a behavioral standpoint. In fact, according to the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, with arrests have been on the decline since the mid-2000s. I think that kids today have a platform to be dumb on, and that makes them appear dumber than previous generations just because it's seen more. Go to our teachers if you want real answers. All you're going to get here is nonsense. Parenting is getting worse, children are just the result. My ex is a teacher who cries at least once a week after work. She has a kid who physically abuses her, but administration won't expel the kid. All has to do with politics and funding. Violent kids don't get expelled from school anymore, even when physically violent to teachers. Thank you, No Child Left Behind. And every student excels. Schools expel or fail a kid, they get less funding. I see kids acting in ways that would earn me an ass whoopin' with no fear in the world all the time. So take with that what you will. Kids have no fear of punishment. Violent kids have more rights than regular students. The same laws that make it so that a Down syndrome kids have the opportunity to learn in the same environment as non-special needs students are the same laws that protect violent and misbehaving kids until it is physically impossible to do so. Assault on a teacher, physical or sexual, is not grounds for expulsion. Generation gap. Kids seemed worse when I was a kid in the 90s. I think kids now are less criminal because they can do stuff on their phone rather than wander around and make trouble like kids a long time ago. I've taught for 18 years. It's bias. Kids are different now than when I started teaching, but not worse. Yes, this generation of kids are dumb and disrespectful and violent, and society will be doomed when they are in charge. The people of every generation for millennia. They're definitely a lot dumber than I remember, and that's saying something considering kids back then were pretty dumb too. Bit of both, but it's definitely more than we like to talk about. Like from depression to other disorders, how much we've destroyed community, but even before that, COVID showed us how much parenting has changed. A ton of parents didn't care to socialize their kids And it showed cause from my friends who are teachers. They got worse after schools opened up again. Also, kids aren't used to know anymore. Many are brought up way too spoiled and lax, and it shows in their entitlement. It's a parenting issue that's affecting kids these days. I don't think a generation that missed 2 years of interaction due to COVID was ever going to be normal. I don't think kids are that much worse in the sense of old people complaining about kids being obnoxious. Look at American Graffiti and other teenage coming-of-age movies from a while ago, and the only real thing that makes it worse today is how fast gossip and other negative stuff spreads with tech. I don't think it's worse. I think it's different in ways that we just aren't familiar with or prepared for. Never at any point in history have such significant cultural changes happened between generations. The kids experienced a global traumatic event, and at no point did their educators sit down and talk about it. Instead, social media, tunneled parents, and outraged crazy people told them what to think and how to feel in YT and TikTok. Then, upon return with all this terrifying info, never sat down and focused on treating the collective trauma and related trauma, loss of family or child abuse or or even drug use. So yes, kids are a little messed up. They are making trad teachers quit due to no response to traumatized behaviors. They are unable to deviate from the plan despite needing to go back 2 years in content and reboot many kids. And since teachers quit, the door is wide open for fast, desperate hires of people who should not be around kids. So address the trauma, remediation of skills, self-paced curriculum, teaching healthy self-soothing, return school attendance to a privilege, not a cheap daycare. No teacher should have to be a psychologist and teacher and babysitter. I don't know 2 younger daughters, and my mates and brothers do also, and all of them are generally awesome. Yeah, they play up a bit, but no more than previous generations. I go to both of their schools for pickup and assemblies and don't really see any bad behavior. Might get the odd ones hanging around the mall, but that's been happening forever. Keep in mind that the local area of wherever the person who works with kids is in will also affect their answer. Poorer neighborhoods will have more problem children. Even just moving across town can change the general vibe of kids. My mom started working at a middle school the year before. 6th, 8th. Kids come to school with weed, act out, start fights, don't listen to teachers, refuse to be quiet in class, refuse to do schoolwork at all, etc. She moved to a different school in the same town. Less kids with drugs, less fights. The kids are better overall in this area, but she still has all the same problems with attention, unwillingness to do work, etc. And these are both schools where they all have little Chromebooks to do assignments online half the time. Both are Title I too, I believe. I think it is the norm to dislike the younger generation and their culture. So that may affect answers, especially when talking about young adults. But a lot of teachers will tell you that kids generally trend worse or the same behaviorally with each school year.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. TooAfraidToAsk is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.